In this episode, after a long break, the boys head up to the territory to chase the mighty Barramundi.
Welcome to my fishing place, the place to be. Well, it had been quite a while since we'd been up in our favourite place in Australia, the Northern Territory, to chase barra. Now, Big Red, when you think of chasing barra, what do you think?
Mate, you just think adventure. You go to somewhere like the Northern Territory and you're remote. There's crocs, there's big barra, it's hot, it's hard. You're in the boats, you're in the water, but you're just casting lures. You got your bait caster and your lures. It's you versus the fish. It's just getting away, and you know there's big fish lurking there, and if you just got to get it right, you get a big one.
I'm a little bit like you in that when we're on the way, we always hit up that servo, we grab a few snacks, we get prepped, and it's just like the anticipation of what's the next few days in the territory going to hold.
It's awesome.
You're pumped. Like, you just can't help but excited. You can't help the big grins on the face, the talk about the stories from last time. You're talking to the guide, and there's always the stories, oh, you should have been here last week, they were like this. There's always, you know, and you're just getting fully pumped. Like, the adrenaline's pumped. It's actually adrenaline pumping, you're just getting there.
I agree. I think when you finally get to the boat, and then the first time you tie your lures on, rods in the tenders, and you start heading out, it's
exciting. It's exciting. And when you start off, you know, a fishing trip with surface fishing, which is almost, you know, one of the most exciting styles of fishing you do. I'm just so pumped right now. And you get one that's very cool.
It is.
However,
here we go.
We did have a little bet on the boat, didn't we?
This trip we decided, right, let's put in $5 each day, and whoever will have a set length for that day. So, and let the guides pick it, and if you catch, you clean up the pot.
Yep.
So first day.
Let's go for 83.
So he's picked 83 centimetres as the size of the barra, but there's three bets going on here. There's three elements that are all at play. Firstly, the size, but secondly, who gets the first barra? I mean, there's us plus Menzel and Ethan, and so there's a few people on the boat, and then it's Dazza says,
Less than 10 casts on my first day.
well, I'm going to get one within 10 casts. So, like...
Supreme confidence.
There's a lot of confidence. Like, considering you'll spend sometimes half a day casting without a hit, and then Dazza has three things, and then he ties on like one of the all-time winning surface barra lures. And I tell you what, if he could have taken out a lotto ticket that day, he should have. He should have taken it out.
You know, probably if you were going to be confident in catching your first barra for the day or the trip, you probably wouldn't tie a surface lure. I mean,
No.
best fun to catch on, but probably not
Not within 10 casts.
not within 10 casts. But I saw there was a lot of bait over in that corner, and a couple of casts in, and bang, I was on. And when we got up to the boat, we had a little measure. So
What we do?
I think there's under 10 as well. I think there's under 10.
on the surface, right up first on the surface, yes! Within 10 casts, I think it's about the third cast or something. Bang on, get it in, first barra of the trip, 83 centimetres.
That was unbelievable. Like, we're like, how does this happen? We did think it was a signal though for a good trip, didn't we?
We did. We were like, yep, good omen, you know? The few things are lining up, and we thought we were on.
After the break, the action heats up in the Northern Territory.
So, Big Red,
Yes.
I've caught the 83, won the bets, but day wasn't over.
No, not yet. And as we usually do up in Darwin, we spend a bit of time casting. We also always get a few on the troll. It's not such hard work as casting, is it? You know, you don't have to get your lures in the right spot because the guide does it, which is always a bonus. So anyway, trolling up the main creek. We trolled for a little while, and then after a while, no hits, so I tried on this little beauty here. long A, bomber, but just different colours. And I reckon probably 15 minutes later, boom, fish on. And that first fish of the trip is always exciting. So first fish in the boat, very happy, and I was looking forward to more.
Put down.
Fish.
Woo!
Come on, Red.
On that colour.
Woo!
Yeah.
Cracking picture.
Hello, Barra. And so, Kez, you caught your first on a Reedies.
Yeah, I did. When we first arrived at Darwin, we caught up with Col and Karen from Reedies for lunch, and he gave us a whole bunch of lures to try out. And the colour that caught my attention was this kryptonite. I just thought, yep, that's sweet. And we'd done a little bit of trolling and stuff, and then we just hit a nice little bank tied on the kryptonite. And yeah, within a few casts, I had a nice little, nothing to write home about. But yeah, first barra of the trip on a new lure that I like the colour of, so I was pretty happy with that. Thanks, Cole.
Good solid first day.
And one of the fellows we had up with us was Mr. Mark Menzel. Now, he's famous for making pretty big calls, I think. And here is a little snapshot of Mark. What do we call it? Boast to boat.
He goes, you want to see you catch fish? Watch this is how it's done. Lure in the water, jig, jig, one, bang, yeah, it's on, salmon.
Salmon, go for it. It's a catfish.
So again, it was just one of those things going, yep, good. It's going to be a good trip.
But he couldn't believe it either. I think that was the most uncanny thing. It's like, yeah, he casts and, you know, both and he's like, whoa, I've actually got a fish. You make the call and 99.9% of times nothing happens. But when you do make the call, you claim it. You're like, yeah, I told ya. So that was a good catch. And there were a few threadies caught over the trip too, weren't there?
We had some really good threadies.
Like we've been there before and got to a lot of good threadies, and this time they appeared in the numbers as well.
Oh, nice salmon, buddy.
Yes, Bino.
Wow. Oh, nice one. Yeah.
That's a good salmon. Up. That's a cracker.
Yeah,
That's a cracker.
Yeah.
Big salmon, buddy. Big salmon.
After the break, Big Red takes on his prodigy. So when we headed up to Darwin this year, we invited my son Ethan to come on the trip with us. His first ever chance at catching a barra and first ever time in the territory.
There was a bit of friendly banter / serious rivalry between Big Red and Ethan as to who would catch the biggest fish.
And as barra fishing goes, you can hook them, but landing them can be another story. And on that first day, Ethan, there was a little bit of disappointment, wasn't there?
I hooked onto a barra and then I was winding it in, having a good fight with it. And I got it right to the boat and then... No! I've had 3 hits now.
You got a scale, did you? What did you get? Bit of
No,
lip?
I've ripped off his lip.
Felt the pangs of disappointment, didn't you, Vito?
Felt pretty bad.
When everyone else is catching a barra and you're having your first day up there and you've dropped a couple, can be a bit disappointing going back to the boat.
That was a big barra.
And then when you hook up a large, unexpected creature that you assume instantly is a big barra.
Alright, well, I knew that.
Fantastic.
Here's your pliers. And you got to de-hook him, alright?
Although exciting, that also can bring on the disappointment as you were a bit of a protege of Big Red, catching a croc.
And I tried to avoid it, but I ended up hooking the croc.
Ethan, if you're going to stuff around, mate, we'll just leave you here with the croc.
Wow.
Come on, Ethan with the croc.
You want to swap turns?
No, it's your fish. You don't take someone else's rod.
Big Red. Ethan's hooked a big croc and he just wonders if you can give him a few tips.
Yes, you will need a professional. I don't think anyone on that boat qualifies. Over.
So he's had day one, bit of disappointment, feeling a little bit of the challenge here, dropped a couple, but then day two came and this was Ethan's chance. We didn't know it, but his chance was coming to catch something that was going to be incredibly special. How did you feel, Ethan, when we were trolling along and all of a sudden, whack?
I nearly tore my arms off. It was
Stay down. Stay. Oh my God! Just going. This is a monster. Shut up.
It was a very strong fish.
Keep the pressure on, mate. Lift him up your rod, mate. Lift up your rod. Oh my. Just.
The feeling was just, it was really good because like just waiting and waiting, being a little bit disappointed, having a little bit of doubt. I was keeping it nice and tight and then it took off onto one side of the creek through the trees and then we went over and got it out. We managed to get it out and then we went that way and went into the other side of the creek and the other side of the trees.
Go slack. One harder. Right down towards the water. Wait for him. Easy, just slowly, mate. Don't. Everything nice and smooth. Keep your rod up now.
Keep fighting, mate. That's it. Just little bits.
And then eventually after lots of weaving around and tugging and whining, we got it out of those trees.
Down with your rod. It's easy, mate. Just take your time.
Keep going for that tree. That's it. That's it.
Slow down. Just easy. Slow down. Away from the boat. Lift him up. Easy. Move up to your right more. Okay, just lift up. Down with your rod.
That is the biggest bear I've ever seen!
Ethan, what a fight, dude. What a fight.
You in the middle.
That thing was massive.
That's a barra.
I thought, oh, it's going to be hard. If he hooks a meter, it could be in the trees before he knows it.
All the casting's worth it right now.
It so is. It's getting very heavy.
That's awesome.
Oh, Bino.
We've landed a 113, 42 pound. Over. The young fella went in the trees both sides of the river, got it out of both sides, jumping all over the joint.
And then that feeling of destroying Big Red, just nothing beats it.
Should have known. I should have known that you would do it.
And how did the rod go, Ethan, during the whole day?
What did you do with your dad's, good rod?
Your dad's great rod.
Yes, well, as we were landing the fish, I may have pulled the rod a little bit too high, and as we got it in the net, it flicked its head a little bit and the end of the rod came off just a little.
Right inside the rod.
The rod and everything.
The unfortunate thing about actually snapping a rod is that it automatically decreases the size of the fish by the size of the rod that was snapped off, which would have been a good 30 centimetres. So, that metery.
I don't recall you getting above 90, so.
But 113 minus, well done on winning the competition, Ethan.
Thank you, Big
Until
Red.
next time.
Stay. Oh my God! Don't hit the line, hit the boat.
Oh, Bino.
That's how we do it. Bonus fish, 113. Not too bad.
That just nearly tore my arms off.
So what you're saying is you've caught your first barra 113 centimetres.
That's correct.
It's all down here from here, folks.
Yeah, you're taking Cromit up there, first trip, first barra of his life is 113. We lifted in the net and it was bigger than Ethan. It's like, if you have a look at the photo of it, the fish probably weighed more than Ethan. It was unbelievable. Just, what's the chances?
After the break, we turned some big losses into some big wins. So there we were. We decided to hit up one of the creeks that's known for its big barra.
One Ethan, one fast. Yep, good fish.
In the previous section, you saw Ethan get a 113 there, so we know there's big fish there. And after a bit of trolling, I hooked onto what turned out to be a nice 93 centimetre, and we got that into the boat. So
Yes, Dazza.
yes,
He's a strong fighter, wasn't he? Eh?
Money.
Well done, Dazza. Always good to get a big one in the boat, but then a little disheartening is I think you hooked something a bit bigger than a 93, Daz. A little bigger.
I did. I think it had been a bit of a break for about an hour. It had, no touches, barra, buffing everywhere, but no touches. And I said, look, we've got to break this up. The only way to break this up is have a bit of lunch. And I have literally put my rod in the rod holder, and I think I bent over to get the lunch or a drink out, and the rod just goes. And I'm trying to get the rod out of the rod. It was that tight. The G limits is almost horizontal. And I'm trying to get it out. Next thing is, and then out of the water, there's barra at the back.
It was big. Big
Into the
fish.
trees, and then the line bites into the spool and snap.
Just about to say, just hand me your rod in case.
It worked, didn't it?
Wow, that was a big animal.
You've got to be kidding me. Put it down 2 seconds.
Told you it works.
Boom.
I think the footage may show me a little devastated in that.
Yes.
A little would be an understatement. How about the term gutted?
It was.
But, when you're barra fishing, you got to prepare for this stuff, right? Who in their right mind will put a rod in a rod holder trolling that creek?
Well,
Hey, look, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. I think I would have maybe passed the rod to somebody, or just not,
yeah, well, passed the rod to you, and you would have claimed the fish.
Wow, prior preparation prevents poor performance. Yes, I did. I felt the sting of defeat. We're at a nice mouth of a creek, and there I was casting away, cast, and all of a sudden, fish on.
Now, to put this in perspective, Ethan's got himself a 113. This was a chance to actually level the score or
Yeah,
up the
but
ante,
look,
wasn't it?
I think everyone's just gone a bit crazy over this whole thing. Like, obviously, swimming through, and next thing, rod buckles. Look, there's a fish on.
No. We saw it come from under the boat and just scoop across, and we're like, oh,
Let him go, let him go. Oh. What did you throw it for?
Right, I didn't realise it was.
I think it's a salmon.
No, it wasn't. It's like a metre fish.
Oh, what's it? Oh, stop it.
It was me. I saw it charge off.
No, listen. Didn't you see where the rod, I thought it was going to snap on the boat. Didn't you see?
Number 6.
It was under here, it was going right under there, that's why I found
Where did it go then?
No, it didn't, it went straight under there. And anyway, I was fish on,
Fish off.
yeah, I don't know, I blame the braid, I blame the braid. Just, came under the boat, so I just gave it a bit of a nudge with the thumb. It headed back out the sea like it was supposed to, then it was gone. So, but look, maybe thready that big.
Ah, it was a big barra.
I thought it was a swimming buffalo.
All right.
That's how big it was.
That's it.
You can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink.
Oh, come on. It was a significant loss, but nothing that bad. I'm quite over it
Well,
now.
anyway, I did claim a metery. With trolling, I caught a metre 1, and that was a good fish, but man, did it take some stopping. He belted my lure, and he went straight over, as they do, big fish know where to go, straight in the trees, and I'm clamping my thumb down. You might even hear Dwayne saying, thumb, and I'm like, I am, and it was just sizzling my thumb. I'm trying to stop it.
Thumb him out, thumb him out, thumb him out, thumb him out. Pull him out. Pull him out, that's it, you got him. Well done. What, 2 steps to your right.
Thumb left.
Right tip up.
Yeah, Keza!
Hang on, Darren.
Oh.
No!
Lead him into me.
Right. Good fish.
And but we got it in. That's the main thing. You get a sore thumb, but you cracked it.
Oh!
Yes! Yes! Jono! Yes! 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 Yes!
Oh, that is a good one.
Woo!
Yes. Meanery.
So that was number 3 for me, a 101.
That hurt so bad when he went in there, and I
No,
just
but you
went.
got him out, man. You've done really, really well.
For the rest of the day, or the trip, you'll see me holding either a cold can, or you'll see me with my hand in a cup of cold water, ice water, because it just totally sizzled my thumb. Totally worth it, because you got to take the pain if you're going to catch the big fish.
So day 2, a cracker day really.
2 meteries in the boat.
93, couple of losses by Big Red, but you know.
Oh, wow.
In the next episode, the top end adventure continues.